Hi everybody, Jorge Rivera here, and this is your week's tenant tip. Thank you so very much for joining us, and thank you for watching. Before we get started, some people have been actually looking at our videos and asking why we're doing the grounding and the breathing in the beginning, and really just feeling like it's probably just taking up space and time. Well, the reason why we do it is because here at the People's Resource Center, we're actually transitioning over to a new name called the Healing and Justice Center. We are really focused in on the well-being and the healing of people in our communities, and tenants, for one, go under a lot of stress, they're under a lot of fear and a lot of trauma that can get triggered, and so we just want to make sure that they're building the skills necessary to be able to sustain themselves and take care of the issues that they need to take care of, because they can be scary and they can be stressful, and that can really activate our nervous system and make us even more sick than we already are. So we just want to make sure that our communities are taken care of. So I just wanted to offer that little bit of information for those people that are wondering why we do the breathing in the beginning. So with that, I hope that helps answer some of those questions. Let's do a little bit of grounding. Let's just start by just getting yourself centered. Put your feet flat on the ground. Just noticing your breath. Just noticing and observing it going in and out. Feeling your feet on the ground. Feeling yourself planted, firm, supported, safe. And as you're breathing, as you're noticing your breath, you can just repeat to yourself in your mind, I am safe. I am safe. I am supported. I am strong. I am safe. I am supported. I am strong. And take one deep breath. Let it all out. All right, I hope that was helpful. Thank you so much for joining me with that, and let's get to your tenant tip. All right, this week we are actually, in the next couple of weeks, we're talking about paying rent, and we have 4 tips for you on what you should know about paying rent. So let's get started. The very first tip, number 1, owners and managers cannot require you to pay rent in cash or through online payments. We have heard of tenants having to pay online, especially with everything moving digitally. Just so that you know, you cannot be forced to make your payments online, especially if you don't have access to it. We also have heard that tenants are actually depositing money directly into the accounts of owners and managers. You are also not required to pay rent in that fashion. And some tenants are even being asked to go to the local convenience store and submitting their rent payment through some sort of electronic means as well. And all of those things sometimes come with the cost. So you can always just pay your rent the old-fashioned way, by check or money order, and sending it through US Postal Service. We actually recommend that you pay by check or money order and send it through certified mail. You don't have to ask for a return receipt, but you should send it through certified mail so you get that tracking number and you get that receipt showing that you actually mailed it. And if you have any concern about your rent getting there, as long as you have the rent check post-dated by the date that it is due, it should not be considered late. And payments are always due as they are stated in the contract. Some people, they get their checks in the middle of the month, and so they negotiate with their property manager or the owner that they need to pay their checks around the middle of the month. So if that's a need that you have, be sure to negotiate that with the property manager or the owner before signing your contract, and make sure that it is clearly stated in the lease or the rental agreement. And sometimes people are afforded 3 to 5 days grace period in case they're running a little bit behind on the rental payment. So be sure that that's also stipulated and stated in the lease and in the contract. The last thing is that you have the right to get a rental receipt. A lot of people are paying rent, and then there's some people that are paying in cash, and they're not getting any receipt for their rental payment, which is why we recommend that you pay by check or money order. If you're paying online and that is a convenience that you want to continue to do, just make sure that you're getting some sort of receipt of the payment that you just made. Take a screenshot with your cell phone if you have to, in order to just have proof that you actually sent in the rental payment, so it doesn't get lost in the electronics and the digital stuff and the cloud out there. Just make sure that you're getting some sort of proof that you're making a payment. And I was mistaken, that wasn't the last thing. The last thing is that around late fees. Late fees can be charged, and they are negotiable. So before you end up signing that lease contract or that rental agreement, you can negotiate on the late fees. Remember that late fees have to be justified by the manager or the owner as to why they're charging you that amount. It just can't be arbitrarily stated. It's like, oh, we're just going to charge you 10% of whatever your rental amount is. No, it has to be justified, meaning that if you pay your rent late and the owner or the manager then suffers some sort of late charge or some sort of cost because you paid your rent late, then they can pass that on to you as the tenant. But if there is no charge or no cost being incurred by the owner or the manager because you paid your rent late, then they technically can't pass it on to you because there's nothing to pass on. So the law says that it cannot be punitive. Late fees cannot be punitive. They cannot be a form of punishment because you paid your rent late. So those are your 4 tenant tips this week. It's all around paying rent. Remember, you cannot be obligated to pay rent online or in cash. Payments are due on the dates that are specified in the contract, so negotiate the dates that are best for you. And you have the right to get a rental receipt no matter what form that you submit your payment in. And late fees can be charged, but they have to be justified and they cannot be punitive. So there you go. That's it for this week. I hope that that was helpful to you. Again, please share this video, pass it on. Let's get as many people educated on what their tenant rights are as possible, because remember, we are better together, we are stronger together. Thank you so very much for watching. Thanks for joining us. And if you like this video, go to our YouTube channel, click on like, subscribe, and click that bell notification so that you're notified of any future videos that we put out. So thanks again for watching. Bye-bye for now. I'm Jorge Rivera.